All right, Bert. Let's do these NFL. Let's pick the playoffs. Right. We'll go through the divisions.
Yeah.
We'll start with AFC, and then we'll pick
Okay.
our three wild cards. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
I think we'll just start with the easy one. Right. AFC West.
Oh yeah, Chiefs.
Okay. So
Through and through. Yeah.
yeah.
There's no, you can't look at that division and tell me that there's going to be one other team that's going to even put up a fight. Like that. This
Yeah.
is how easily we're going to see the Chiefs just roll right back in it. Like, I'm sorry, you're going to tell me the Raiders, Broncos, or the Chargers? Perhaps
I would say the Chargers if
a high question mark.
the question mark of Justin Herbert and his
Yeah.
foot injury. I don't know what's happening with that. I believe that a quarterback probably needs his feet. So I don't know the extent of his injury. Hopefully it's not that serious. They're obviously, if it is serious, they're not going to, if it's season ending serious, obviously we would know. But I think if it's anything, it could be anything from not serious to kind of serious, but we don't want it to kind of, we're like wait and see kind of thing. So, but either way, it's year one of Jim Harbaugh. I think me and you were pretty good fans of Jim, rooting for Jim. In year one starting is rare for a team to just be like, Jim Harbaugh could probably do it, but the fact that
so you said that. I mean, as you were saying, it's kind of hard in my head. I'm like, but if anybody can, it's Jim.
yeah.
Mr.
But
Harbaugh.
our logical heads, probably not, right? Chiefs are just, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
All right, AFC North. This one was tough for me.
This is the toughest division in the AFC, in my own personal opinion, because honestly, it could go a couple of different ways. I will tell you, I am not backing down when I tell you that the Cincinnati Bengals have my heart, and I think they have this division. That's nothing against, because you got to remember, last year we saw a really good Browns team and for Cleveland, and then the Ravens. So for me to go with the Bengals means I think there's going to be a new hierarchy in this division this year. Not to say that there won't be room for the Ravens or the Browns, because I think obviously you have the wild card option. But for me, if I'm picking a division winner, I'm not going to stray. I am all in on Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Don't sleep on the Steelers.
I agree with you. I'm telling you that this is why this is going to be one of the closest divisions in football. It's similar to what we saw with the NFC, the NFC East. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
When we had the Eagles, Giants.
I think all four teams at
all
one
four
point
teams were in the playoffs.
At some point. Now that was never going to happen, but the fact that they were in the hunt was quite remarkable.
Three out of the four ended up
Three out of
making
the four.
it. Two in the wild, of course.
Yep.
Two in the wild card, but still.
I love when that happens too. I love when a division is that good.
Yeah.
I think the AFC North will be that division this year. I do have three teams in the playoffs, but I'm gonna stick with the Baltimore Ravens. It's hard. I get people are gonna overreact to the postseason.
Yeah.
That's something they have to fix, but I think the postseason. I think people are forgetting what they did in the regular season, and I just can't. Joe Burrow's coming back from the injury.
Yeah.
The Ravens added Derrick Henry. Hey, Brandon DeWitt, shout out to you, man. Thank you. Sure. It has been a minute. I'm gonna stick with the Ravens, but stay tuned with the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll get to them in a second. AFC South. Houston, right?
Houston. It's Houston.
I'm a big Will Levis guy over here. I am a big Will Levis guy.
Yeah.
I just don't think that the Titans have enough. They also have a new coach.
New coach.
I'm not an Anthony Richardson
running back. I take your pick. Like the Titans, it's not it. The Colts, I think, had a little bit of a fluky season in a good way last year.
And we don't know if Anthony Richardson really is that good or not. I don't know. And he's coming back from injury.
The Jags are a question mark, right? But in me, it's Houston being the clear top.
Yeah, we'll go with Houston there. AFC wildcard spots, Bert. I am going with Cincinnati and Pittsburgh out of the AFC North. And then shout out to Carl Powers. I will do the New York Jets.
So you skipped over. I guess you don't want to do the East, or is everybody just expecting you to pick the Bills?
My bad. I overlooked them. AFC East. Buffalo
Dolphins.
Bills. Oh, you son of a bitch.
I flipped a coin and said, this will piss him off. Let's go with this. It's fine. Yeah.
That's fun.
So Dolphins,
there is an argument, though. They got the best player in the NFL, apparently. So, there is a legit argument for the Miami Dolphins. But much like the Ravens, right?
Yeah.
These tail-offs that they're having, putting a lot of question marks on Mike McDaniel. I think this is the first year where we shouldn't kind of just anoint the Dolphins. They have to now. The Bills have won this division 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
And I think people are overstating losing Stephon Diggs. Like Stephon Diggs was like this. Like we didn't lose Calvin Johnson, right? I get that he was a good receiver, but down the stretch when we made the switch to Joe Brady, Stephon Diggs was just a regular guy. Khalil Shakir was our best receiver, and by a wide margin. I think this is addition by subtraction. I think the Bills, people are kind of shitting on the Bills because they just look at Stephon Diggs and just assume it's going to be bad. I am not of that ilk. I remember who we have, and we have Josh Allen. And I will go with always the best quarterback in the division when the division is like this. And the Bills, like I said, 5 years in a row. We would never disrespect any other division winner who's won this division 5 years in a row, and I'm not going to start this year because we lost Stephon Diggs. Buffalo Bills are going to win this AFC East just because they've been doing it. And if last year didn't prove that they can overcome anything, I'm not going to, then I don't know what to tell you. But I'm not mad at the Miami pick. Again, they have talent. They've won big games. They put up 70 points. I understand that. I wouldn't be mad if somebody picked the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
they've had a top 6 defense all the last couple of years.
Yeah. And look, I mean, the way I looked at it too is I think this is going to be, honestly, both teams are going to be in the playoffs. If not, the division one is in the wild card. For me, you can't sleep on the Dolphins in a sense of they did somewhat add to their firepower with Odell now down there too as another option.
Right.
I say somewhat, right? Because
you think he has something left?
That's the thing. Like you just don't know. Is he going to help? Yeah, sure. And you have to look at what Mike McDaniel did last year too, and how the whole team responded. But again, I mean, it was really schedule strength too. And I'm not blaming it just on schedule strength, but I mean, you figure there was a good stretch there where Dolphin fans were thinking like the Dolphin fans of old were being like, we just scored 70 something points, now we're back down to losing to, games we should win essentially. So I think it's going to be a good back and forth. I did go Dolphins. I think partly just to aggravate the shit out of you.
It did. But, I'm just trying not to let it show.
I also can't sit here and be like Bills too, because then everybody be like, yeah, of course, Bert's always going to go with Jerm's Bills. No.
I like that.
Yeah.
But,
but wild card wise, honestly, I have Ravens, Bills, and then I have another toss up in here. It wasn't the please Carl Powers. I can see the Browns going back into it. Obviously, with the return of the great Nick Chubb, why not? But Aaron Rodgers' health is a huge question mark in terms of if he stays healthy, will the Jets be that team that everybody thought they were going to be last offseason? So I think if he makes it more than 5 downs or so, I think we'll see a competitive Jets team that could see a wild card spot in the AFC.
I was this close to putting the Browns into my wild card, and I wanted to, but Deshaun Watson is the thing. I mean, Nick Chubb is coming back. They added Jerry Jeudy. I know they got blown out in the playoff game, but with Joe Flacco, they were pretty competitive most of the year. Yeah. And I got to imagine if Deshaun Watson is anything like what Joe Flacco was last year, they're probably going to have a pretty good time. I think what's going against them is that the division they're in is so tough, and I can't put them above Pittsburgh or Cincinnati or Baltimore. That's why I didn't have them as a wild card. Yeah. But could I swap out Cleveland and Pittsburgh, because that's what I was tempted to do? Sure. Yeah. But in Mike Tomlin we trust, right? I just trust Mike Tomlin. So, man,
when you look at the AFC East and the AFC North, those are two very, very competitive divisions now, right? Again, I think all swinging on the fact that the Jets, Aaron Rodgers stay healthy, and he is that guy, or if the Jets are going to jet. But I mean, you want to talk about two divisions where years ago it was just like, hey, it was Pats Ravens or Pats Steelers, and those were the standalones in those division. But man, what a turnaround!
NFC. Bert, NFC West, San Fran?
San Fran.
Okay. NFC North? Detroit?
North, I have Detroit. I think, look, they came out hungry to prove something last year, and you better believe being minutes and inches away this past year, Dan Campbell probably called every single one of his players every fucking day of the offseason, and they have it ingrained in probably why they're fighting the Giants right now in preseason. Those boys are ready to go.
I like it, man. Set the tone. I'm all for training camp fights. This was hard. It was either Detroit or Green Bay.
Yeah.
Either way, both of them were going to make the playoffs. But we've been Dan Campbell people from the jump. I'm going to stick with Detroit. I just like everything they got going on over there. So we'll see. I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown contract.
Yeah.
Paying the wide receiver, I get it, but
You had to.
you had to, and so, but typically that kind of leads to other things. So we'll see. But I'm going to rock with Detroit. NFC South, Atlanta.
I'm going Atlanta too. Yeah.
I just, unless something catastrophic happens to Kirk Cousins or one of their key players, or I mean, can a team like the Panthers just all of a sudden 180? I don't.
Can they? Yes, they can.
Yes, anybody
Yeah.
could, right? Like a team can surprise us. I don't see it. The Saints are the Saints. I was tempted. I like Tampa. I think they overachieved a little bit, but they could prove me wrong. But I mean, Atlanta's just, they have everything you need. So, and I think the problem is other divisions are too good, and I think math will eliminate Tampa. I think Tampa will be good. I think they'll flirt being one game above 500 or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think they will be that first or second team in the hunt that math eliminates them. But I'm going to go with Atlanta. NFC East.
I went Eagles. I did.
Did you?
I did. I mean, it's hard to ignore what they've done in years past. It was a close race last year. I know Dallas beat them out slightly, but they're clearly the better team, and they've just added Saquon, who's, I mean, honestly going to just give them one other option, and it'll be nice to see how a running back works with protection there and a good O-line.
So I wrote down Philly, but then the story came out, so I went with Dallas.
Yeah. So I had that thought too. After we had spoke earlier in the day, I was like, damn, this is my pick, but I'm sticking with it. I think so. These are the types of stories like this. And this honestly, this beef reminds me so much, because you hear a little bit and you don't hear the full story of the fucking Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur shit from years ago. Like, do they like each other? Do they not like each other? What's happening there? So the fact that there is a little bit of this is why I say it. So it's either going to be good in the fact where they win and they just keep on and do their job, or if they lose, this shit fucking unravels quickly and we see. Yeah. And then, look, we talked about it, 2 weeks ago, last time I was on, Bill Belichick. He's licking his chops, sitting on the sides, looking. So Nick Sirianni, if he doesn't play this the right way, someone else may roll into town.
Yeah, there's a lot of off the field stuff that is affecting the Eagles that probably shouldn't be affecting the Eagles, and so, but I still think they'll be good enough to make the playoffs. So I do have them as my wild card. I have the Rams, and then I went with the Packers.
I actually have the same. Except flopped. I have Dallas in the wild card, Rams, and then of course the Packers. But the Bears could surprise us, right? Like we can talk about
it.
Hey,
Mike Hughes, man. Hey, enough of this Bear shit. They get on Hard Knocks. You talk all this shit. Enough. I get it, man. Like it's, this thing that we do when a team of players that we like, and then they make like a wide receiver move with Keenan Allen. Has Keenan Allen played a full season ever? Like, I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Is it more likely to see Tampa Bay in a wild card position or the Bears?
I would think it's more likely to see Tampa in a wild card before the Bears. The Bears, don't sleep on the Vikings. Like, I don't know if are the Bears the second best team in that division. I don't know. The Vikings, to me,
no, I would say the Packers are certainly if they're the third best, maybe.
Or third best, I'm saying, right. Like, would you comfortably put the Bears above the Vikings with Aaron Jones going there, Justin Jefferson's there? Like, they're in the same boat. They got a rookie quarterback. JJ McCarthy is a national champion, and Caleb Williams ain't. So, like, what's the difference here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we all know college doesn't translate into the NFL.
Right, but they are doing that because that's why everybody's on Chicago's dick. They think Caleb Williams, who basically shit the bed second half of the college season, and everybody had every excuse in the world for them. Oh, they don't got no players, and they don't do this, and they don't do whatever, man. Like, you're either that dude or you're not that dude. Like, we've seen college players carry trash before. Like, it happens. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, you're either that dude or you're not that dude. I know JJ McCarthy is a national champion. That's what I know. And so I'm not going to sit there and take what Caleb Williams has done and watch him fucking fall off the face of the earth crying in his mom's arms and then shit on JJ McCarthy for winning a national championship. It doesn't work that way. No, we don't know what these rookies are going to be.
Man,
They either going to be
I can't
great.
believe you would do this to Mike Hughes. How selfish. Unbelievable.
I'm doing this because I love Mike Hughes. Got to set the expectation. He's been drinking the Kool-Aid. I like the Bears. I love the addition of DeAndre Swift. I love Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen somehow is on my fantasy team every year. Network fantasy draft a couple weeks from now. We got to figure that out. But I just like I don't know how anybody can comfortably say that they're going to make the playoffs. Like people are putting them in the Super Bowl. Like it's unbelievable. They're putting
I think is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's I don't know. But the Bears, I think it's more likely that I do think it's more likely the Bucs would end up in the playoffs before the Bears. But I don't think either one of them are going to make it. But if I had to pick one, I would pick the Bucs for sure, just because their division, their path would be winning the division. I think the Bucs could win the division. Because there's no other competition other than Atlanta, and we still don't really know if Atlanta's going to be all that good. But
that's the thing. Yeah, right. I mean we're expecting it,
right? But we know Detroit's good. We know Green Bay's good. Like the path is easier for them. So to me, that's why I would pick the Bucs over the Bears in that situation.